y'all, welcome back to Adventuring with Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I thought today would be the perfect day to make a video about how I stay warm in my minivan camper when it is quite literally freezing outside. This is my fourth winter, or is it third? I don't know, third or fourth winter in my minivan camping, and the coldest that Wynston and I have slept in is 25 degrees when there was snow on the ground. But we've made it. Ooh, the flies are out today. It's sunny and kind of warm. It's really nice out. But despite the fact that it's nice out today, we've been reaching the 30s at night, and it's even supposed to be 29 degrees on Sunday. Thankfully, we don't have snow on the ground, so that's really good. And it is nice and dry here in Arizona, which also makes a big difference. But I like to make a video each winter about how I'm staying warm because I kind of switch up my routine a little bit here and there. And today I'm going to focus on what I personally do now to stay warm. So the top things to remember are, if your head is warm and your feet are warm, that regulates your body temperature. So at night, I sleep with a beanie on. Despite all of my thick hair, I always sleep with a beanie on. Now, my ASU beanie is my favorite, but it's kind of hard to sleep in because it's thick around here, and this little fluff ball likes to hit the back of my seat. So I wear a very basic beanie on my head to keep my ears and my head warm. This makes a massive difference. I also like to cover my pillow with like a micro fleece blanket or a flannel sheet, something very warm, because that will help keep your neck and your shoulders and your head warm as well. On my feet, I wear regular socks, and then I also have these Sherpa socks that I put on over it. Of course, that'll keep my entire ankle and my foot very warm. These are so cozy. Wool socks work well also, but I like to wear a regular sock with this on top, and that is so cozy warm. So always focus on keeping your feet and your head warm. I also just got, as a Christmas gift, I got this from my brother's girlfriend, and it goes around the neck. Very cozy material. Let's see what it's polyester, rayon, and spandex. So this goes around your neck. You can even put it, I really like this for courtside because I can like wear it to keep myself protected from the dust, but this can go around your neck. I was also thinking about wearing it as a headband, but anyway, so that's something that's really nice as well. Also, I wear, depending on the weather, you might need to wear something very thick, but I just like to wear a warm flannel or something kind of thin on top of my clothes to, and this has a collar, so that helps as well. But so it doesn't necessarily ruin my sleep. Like, I'm not wearing a big winter jacket, but this is nice for keeping my, my shoulders and my neck and my arms nice and toasty warm without impeding my sleep. A lot of people like to use sleeping bags. I am not a sleeping bag type of person. So I put a micro fleece blanket down on my bed, and my bed is like, it doesn't get cold because it's foam, and then it's a memory foam mattress with a cover on it that's super high quality, and I have a sheet. So it doesn't get cold. I don't really have cold coming from anywhere because minivans are extremely insulated, which is another benefit of camping and traveling in a minivan. But I have the micro fleece blanket on the bottom, and then I like to put my 12-volt heating blanket on top of that so I can lay on top of it. I've tried it both ways, sleeping on top of it or sleeping under it. When I sleep under it, it'll literally make me sweat, and that's on the lowest setting. I've only used this bad boy on the lowest setting. Last night I woke up and I was sweating. So this thing is awesome. So I have the micro fleece, then this on top of it, and then I have a super comfy Sherpa blanket on top of that. And if I need it, which last night is the first night that I needed it this season, I have my Get Out Gear down puffy blanket. This is the second winter I've used this. I've said it many times and I will continue to say it. This blanket is incredible. Now, this is the down blanket. There is a synthetic version as well. As you can see, it folds down really nice and flat, super easy to pack in there, so you can keep it anywhere if you're limited on space. But this will, on top of everything, like on top of me and Wynston, it keeps you 15 degrees warmer, and that is no joke. Like, this thing is a game changer for cold weather camping. What I like about this blanket is it also turns into a poncho, so it's really great to wear outside if it's windy, freezing, or you're like sitting at a campfire. This thing is amazing. And I have a video, well, I have a couple of videos about it, but I have a video where I show what it looks like when you're wearing it as a poncho, and I will link that in the description of this video. But get yourself one of these bad boys. They are not cheap, but they are worth every penny, because even without my heating blanket, because I didn't have a heating blanket last winter, this bad boy, it's really all I needed. So I also have one for Wynston. If it gets super cold, I can make like a tent over his seat and he stays nice and cozy and warm. So I could not live without my Get Out Gear blanket. It is tremendous. A lot of people like to use, like for your hands, rechargeable hand warmers. I know these are not the most environmentally friendly, but I really like hot hands. I like to use just one. This is the super warmer, so it's like one pack. I like to use it to just kind of like hold on to in the evenings. Like, let's say I'm watching shows or something. I can just kind of like hold on to this and like feel it to get my hands warm. Sometimes I like rub it on Wynston. And I even put these, I'll put one in Wynston's bed. If he's not sleeping with me, I'll put it underneath his blanket so it makes his bed super warm. Of course, you can get the hand warmers, get the toe warmers. They're great if you're wearing gloves, but I like the super warmers because of the size. And you can reuse them. Like, if you don't use it too much or only use it for a few hours, you can put it in a Ziploc baggie and seal it up real good and then use it again. So you can get these anywhere, even like hardware stores you can get these at. Of course, I purchased this, my 12-volt blanket. That stuff is from Amazon. Also, believe it or not, candles. Now, of course, you have to be very careful with candles. I got a set of unscented votive candles. Candles give off a lot of heat. You can even, I was doing some research on this, and I think like 3 of these candles at night are enough to almost completely warm my minivan. 40 tea lights will warm a room that's 300 square feet. So, of course, they're a fire hazard. Make sure you have your fire extinguisher or a fire blanket. I recently, or both, honestly. I recently got these fire blankets. So, another van lifer coming by here. Got these fire blankets, so I have one accessible right here because I cook in the van. And but of course I keep it at a place where it's safe, out of reach of Wynston, etc. So candles actually really help warm up, but I also recommend having a CO2 detector. Of course, very important to have a carbon monoxide detector. I have one, and of course that is absolutely imperative. Something else you can do is, like, I have a little butane stove. So if I wake up for some reason and I'm absolutely freezing, I can just turn on my stove a little bit, you know, set it in a safe place, turn it on, just kind of warm it up in here. My butane stove warms up my van in the morning when I'm making coffee, so that's something that you can do as well. You can also buy warmers for a propane or butane stove. It's like a little metal warmer, and you put that on top of your stove and it'll radiate heat out. So that's an option as well. But again, make sure you have a fire extinguisher and a carbon monoxide detector. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk. In the morning, when it's very cold, what I like to do is I immediately take down my windshield visor to let the sun in, because just opening up your windows, silly fly, just opening up your windows, having that sun come in will naturally warm things up. So that's something very easy. It's like It's 35 degrees in the morning. Winston and I just woke up. He had to go potty. I get back in and I take down all my shades so that sun can come in and start warming things up. I also am grateful that I actually have remote start for my van. So when my van is locked at night, I don't have to get up. I can literally start my van from right here and have the engine and the heat turn on. So that's awesome as well. And then once it's kind of warmed up enough to take the chill out, I can turn my van off. So remote start is very helpful. Also, space heaters use a lot of electricity. So I don't use anything like that. I do not want to be burning propane overnight, so I don't use a buddy heater. You know, I'm in such a small space that something like that is just not necessary for me personally. I can see using something like that, like a mini buddy heater, if you lived in a cold climate and you were where it's like, you know, 20 for the high during the day and like below freezing at night. I can see doing that, but in Arizona it's simply not necessary. So I always recommend doing what you're comfortable with, what's best for your environment. I have a dog, so I have to keep him comfortable and safe, but these are the things that keep me warm at night, and it's worked really well. I have yet to like wake up and be freezing this winter. So hopefully it stays that way. My heating blanket and my get out gear blanket have made the biggest difference, and just dressing warmly, you know, simply doing that can help as well. So I hope this video was informative and maybe it gave you a few ideas. Give it a thumbs up if it did, and I will see you next time.